When people find out that we left behind a trendy neighborhood and a beautiful historic home to move out into the middle of nowhere and become farmers, they wonder if we've lost our minds and gone completely crazy. We dropped a bombshell on our family back in 2020 when we announced that our house was up for sale and we were moving, but the actual bombshell was when we woke up and saw that the suburban life was making us sicker and happier and didn't give us a path forward to leave behind a multi-generational legacy for not only our kids, but our future grandkids and great-grandkids as well. We aren't crazy. Seriously, we aren't. In fact, after living out here for 5 years, we wonder if what is crazy is what society calls normal, whatever that is. Here's our story of how we traded the hustle and bustle of the city life for the rugged life of living in the countryside.
As the world locked itself down and hid itself away, we went to the place where we felt alive, where we felt free, and where we felt safe. With schools closed and Zoom taking the world of work by storm, we thought the virus handed us an opportunity. We went and spent an entire month at the farm, watching spring bloom right before our eyes, coffee on the back porch in the morning and evenings by the wood stove in a 1906 farmhouse, meant to house a family, doing life as a tightly woven unit. We were hooked. I know, it wasn't a highly controlled experiment. We were essentially experiencing farm life in a vacuum. But there was little choice to spend our time together with the entire world locked down and the virus having its way. Would we like living there as much when we brought all of our regular baggage with us? All of our daily obligations of work and school? We'd always thought that we would retire to the farm someday, but what did the path look like between then and now, where we were? What were our goals for the property? And how could our family span the gap between that fantasy life in the future and the moment that we actually lived in? So with nowhere to go and nothing but time on our hands, we made a list of pros and cons of going, staying. And here's what emerged as our prime movers: our family, our health, and the world around us is changing.
Family is everything. Land is great, don't get me wrong, but I'm always careful not to make a false idol out of land. That said, this land is something special in my family, and now our family. We have a 115-year legacy on this land. My great-grandpa? Yeah, great-great-grandpa gifted this land to his eldest son to farm back in about 1904, I believe it was. And here we are today in 2025, which is pretty amazing. It's important, at least we think it's important, for kids not only to grow up around family, but to see how a multi-generational family and a multi-generational homestead works. This land has almost always been a multi-generational homestead. My parents, they live right at the end of our driveway, and it's important for our kids to not only have them around so that they can teach them all the things that younger parents like us are too busy to teach or just don't know because we lack the wisdom of the generation that came before us, but also they get to see them age. And that's something that society tends to hide away from kids these days because, I don't know, it's uncomfortable, but it's an important part of life, and it gives a service mindset, or we hope it gives a service mindset to the kids because they'll see how our parents age and how the grandparents age, and maybe someday they'll, help out with us too. It's an important thing. Just got to pass that down, that whole caring and compassion. Moreover, though, it wasn't just this whole family compound experience we wanted to get after, although that's pretty darn cool. There's something really wrong with the mental health of kids in this world. And let me read some statistics because I can't remember numbers like this. 2016 to 2023, diagnoses of issues such as depression in children rose from 15% in children to 20.3%. Suicide rates, terrifying. From 2007 to 2021, in the 10 to 14 cohort, suicide rates went up 62%. This is a mental health crisis. And we're not immune to it out here, but I if you're watching this, I think you understand what we're saying. It seems like we have a lot more control of that over here. There is a huge correlation between screen time in kids and being in nature and happiness. If we can control that and give that to our kids, and frankly also put them to work, because what is it, idle hands make for the devils?
Something like that.
Yeah, right?
It's not good. More work.
So if we put the kids to work, I think they'll be well adjusted. They may be grumpier, but they'll be well adjusted. This whole concept of health is super important to us. Christopher Walken now. Now you moved, now it's going to look like a jump cut.
Sorry.
Health. Maybe we've lost our mental health already. I'm just, okay, this is not AI, and you know how you know that? Is because this is going to be, instead of like a total jump cut, we've totally lost it. So we're just going to pretend and gloss over this.
Rolling.
And just keep rolling. So.
Go on, Christopher Walken. Health is clearly another factor that motivated us. We thought we were pretty healthy to begin with. We were buying food from farmers markets and organic grocery stores and from local farmers. And once we started seriously considering the idea of moving to the farm, the possibilities for raising and growing our own food seemed endless. We knew we were starting with zero infrastructure, but a lot of enthusiasm. This gave us the chance to improve our mental and spiritual health. It's hard to be truly upset when you're surrounded by blue sky and green grass and green trees. You feel an awful lot closer to the creator of it all. I suspect that this is really what people want to know when they ask why we moved. And I suspect on some level we're just wired this way. Perhaps some people more than others. Some just want it for a long weekend to recharge their batteries. And for some of us, too much is never enough. This is the fabric of life and the way we're meant to be.
We wanted a chance to return to a way of life, or try to approximate as much as you can in 2025, a way of life that is super alien to a whole bunch of people. Oftentimes it feels like we live in a completely different country out here. Like, we don't live in the country, we live in a completely different country, maybe a different time period. When we moved out of the city, I think the assumption was, especially at the time with that, thing going on, the assumption was we're going to move out here and everything's going to be different, right? It's going to be a lot different. And that was true for a time, but we still had to, especially as things turn back to normal, whatever that is, we still had to find a new dentist. The kids still had sports to go to. We had to find a new church. We still had neighbors to meet, things to do. We started getting involved in other clubs, and as the kids grew up, they got involved in more activities like band. We had to find new dentists and grocery stores and the multitude of things that make up everyday life. And what had become special and different slowly began to become everyday life. This is just normal for us, except we go out and do farm animal chores in the morning, which is a little bit different than living in the city. So it's not, ultimately we still have a choice of how different are we going to make it. And what we have found is that this space around us and this lifestyle that is more connected to the land gives us the ability and the intentionality to really appreciate what we have. And it gives us the space to recognize that and do something about it. When you're all hemmed in, at least for us in the city, and you got neighbors on each side of you, and you've got traffic going down the road, and you got noises all the time, it's hard to breathe and connect and see what life is all about. We're still crazy, and we're still busy, and oh my gosh, I think we work harder. How many jobs do we have now? 4?
Lots.
5? We have a lot.
Lots.
In spite of all of that, in spite of the stress, the sleepless nights, the worry, it's just different. And that is the journey that we hope to try to explain to you, which is why we started this YouTube channel. What sound like a Tractor Supply commercial? Life out here is different. We're not sponsored by Tractor Supply. It is different though, and we want to convey the specialness.
Sure.
we want to convey the specialness of how life out here can simultaneously be super busy, but also be super fulfilling. And we love that you watch. So whether you're living your own homestead adventure, your own farm adventure, or you're living vicariously through us, we love that you're watching this and you're coming along with us, and we are just so grateful for that. God bless you. God bless your family. And we look forward to seeing you in the future.